You did quite well there.
We did well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started BX Property in 2014. I'd come out of a 25-year career in IT marketing and decided that I wanted to make my living through property. Started really without understanding exactly what my strategy would be, but managed to stumble across lots of different strategies in property, so decided that that was the way forward.
We started developments with Jon actually as our client. We did a couple of schemes in Southampton and decided to invest with Jon in this development at Didcot.
This site came along because of a relationship that I'd already made with a local estate agent called Brecon & Brecon, and they came across this as an opportunity. The building was owned by another local developer who typically works on new build houses. So they owned this site, but they didn't really want to build it out themselves. So discreetly they spoke to the local agent and made it available. The original permitted development was for 14 flats and we were able to increase that to 17. So the total mix has gone from 19 flats overall on the scheme to a total of 22. Permitted development rights have been very important for my business, but I didn't really understand them before I started. So my first project was a house refurb. So I was looking to try and convert it into flats, but in the end we couldn't get planning for it.
The difference between ground up to refurbishment is you have a lot more issues to resolve in a refurbishment project generally because you're dealing with an existing structure with all the fundamental design problems that come with that on opening up and changing the building from what this one is as an office building into a residential scheme. Your new builds tend to be a little bit easier because you're coming out of the ground, everything's new and simpler construction really.
This is the first time that I will have done anything that requires a different mindset. All of my projects to date have been built to sell. So with an element of this project being built to rent, we've had to just look at things like very basic stuff like the schedule of finishes. Yeah, probably the most basic example is do you want carpet in the bedroom if you're going to be renting these? If you expect that every year you may change your tenant, so it's a transient business with renting. So do you want to have to clean the carpet every time that somebody changes? Would it be better just to have a solid wood flooring or a solid laminate flooring, and then if somebody wants to put a rug in the bedroom, they can do?
It's really the maintenance and longevity of the products really that we look at. We want things that we can easily maintain, repair if they get damaged, if there's an issue with them. So it's looking at those types of finishes in a rental project rather than a project we're going to sell.
Yeah, the signature or ethos of a Jon Lynch development is really about affordability. So one of the benefits of permitted development has been that we've been able to introduce the concept of smaller, more affordable homes or apartments. So the main ethos is to really position ourselves at the entry level of the market, and with the support of the government's Help to Buy initiative, we've been able to provide an option for people who are either living at home and want to move out and buy their own place, or are currently spending a lot of money on rent. The most important thing that we do when we look at a scheme is to see its location, not just its wider location, but also specifically how close it is to amenity. It ticks many boxes in terms of transport location. We've got Didcot Parkway train station within about 0.8 of a mile away. So, so for those people who want to visit into London, it's a fast train route, so it's very good. Also, local amenity in terms of shopping is very strong. So we're about 200 metres from the Orchard Centre, which is a large development in Didcot that's been ongoing for the last few years. So there's a lot of regeneration happening within the town. So we're right on the doorstep of that newly regenerated area. Also, the land itself, it provides parking for each one of the flats. What makes a good joint venture? I think the main thing is having a very clear joint vision. So from day one, it's been important for Andy and I to agree exactly what our objective is with this site. We both have our own distinct goals in terms of investment, the returns that we're looking for, what we want to sell, what we're happy to keep our money in. I think it's really important on day one to be totally transparent about that. And the second thing that's important to a joint venture is communication. So making sure that whilst you have a common goal, that you keep speaking as you go through to make sure that anything that changes in terms of your original expectations, that you're communicating with each other about that. Already we've said to each other we didn't realise just how much was required on each other's side of the fence. I think he's always seen me turn up to monthly meetings as a client and thinking, oh, this job's easy. But I think you're starting to see some of the things that we do in development.
Yes,
in terms of
sure.
Raising funds, setting the specification, working with the local agents to make sure we have the right product for development, setting the schedule of finishes, trying to maximise the specification and make it as high quality as we can within the confines of the cost model that we have.
And all the legal side of it.
Legal side,
Everything, it's been a real sort of eye-opener for me coming from the construction side to the development side. We would normally turn up on site with a specification, a tender, but between myself and Jon, we've obviously developed that together and looked at a practical approach, which I suppose from the construction side we can bring to a scheme. And Jon is obviously more in touch with the sales side and everything else. So it's a really good combination. I think it works really well.